Solom Royal Hebrew Family, Baruq to Yashar'al in all four corners of the earth. Welcome to Hebrew History Channel. It's your sister Rayah again with another look back into our sacred text, written by the beloved prophets of the Most High YAHUAH. Thank you for joining me as we continue our remarkable journey of our great-grandfather and great-grandmother, Abra'ham and Sarai. I wanted to narrate this intro presentation because this was a special presentation close to my heart, because it closely relates to how this specific pattern in our sacred text repeats itself over and over and over again. And it will repeat again in this current dispensation. But first, I would like to begin with a message from the Most High, given to one of his most trusted and beloved kings and prophets, King Solomon. He writes in Proverbs 2, chapter 1 through 12, "My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and to apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if you cry after knowledge, and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek wisdom as silver, and search for her as for hid treasures, then shall you understand the fear of the Most High, and find the knowledge of Eloha. For YAHUAH giveth wisdom, out of his mouth coming knowledge and understanding. He lays up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keeps the paths of judgment and preserves the way of his Kodashim. Then shall you understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom enters into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve you, and understanding shall keep you, to deliver you from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaks rebellious things." Hallelujah. I love that passage, and I love that the Most High gives us these words of wisdom in these last days. So we'll pick up where we left off on our last episode, when Abra'ham and Sarai longed for home. Canaan was experiencing drought and famine, so they decided to go back to their homeland of Haran to visit their family. They journeyed home to the birthplace of Haran in the land of Babylon.
We'll pick up where we left off on our last episode, when Abra'ham and Sarai longed for home. Canaan was experiencing drought and famine, so they decided to go back to their homeland of Haran to visit their family. They journeyed home to their birthplace of Haran in the land of Babylon. Abraham had amassed many servants and possessions from his years in Canaan, so this would be a long and daunting trek home. As Abra'ham and Sarai arrived in Haran, hoping to see the familiar sights of their childhood that enveloped them like a warm embrace, they were anticipating the bustling market, the scent of spices wafting through the air, and the laughter of children playing in the streets brought back memories of simpler times. Yet their nostalgic reunion lay dormant. Sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the fields that once flourished with crops. As they settled into their family home, the reality of the famine became increasingly apparent. The once bountiful land of Haran now lay parched and cracked, the earth pleading for rain. Abram's heart sank as he surveyed the barren fields, knowing that his wealth, though vast, could not shield them from the harshness of nature. Famine had gripped most of the lands throughout Ethiopia, aka Africa's Yashar'al 50. Sarai, ever perceptive, noticed the worry etched on her husband's face. "Abram," she said softly, "we have faced challenges before. We will find a way through this, as we always have. The Most High will provide." Abram nodded, but doubt lingered in his mind. He had always been a man of faith, guided by the promises he believed were bestowed upon him. Yet, the weight of responsibility for his family and his servants pressed heavily on his shoulders. "We must consider our options," he replied, his voice steady but laced with concern. "If the famine continues, we may have to seek refuge elsewhere." That moonlit night, Abram gathered his family and closest servants around the fire. The flickering flames illuminated their faces, revealing a mix of hope and apprehension. "We have always been a people of resilience," he began, his voice strong. "But we must be wise. If this famine persists, we may need to journey to Egypt, where the Nile flows and the land is fertile." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, but Sarai's brow furrowed. "Egypt is a land of our enemies, Abram. We do not know what awaits us there. What if we face danger?" Abram took Sarai's hand, squeezing it gently. "I understand your fears, my love, but we cannot let fear dictate our path. We must trust in the promise of the Most High that has guided us thus far. We will go together, as a family, and face whatever challenges lie ahead." As the fire crackled, Abram felt a flicker of hope ignite within. They would not be defeated by famine or fear. Together they would embark on this new journey, united in their faith and determination. The next morning they began to prepare for their journey. Servants packed their belongings while Abram and Sarai shared quiet moments, reminiscing about their dreams and aspirations. They spoke of the future, of the children they hoped to have, and the legacy they wished to build. As they set out, the sun rose high in the sky, casting a golden hue over the land. With each step, Abram felt the weight of uncertainty lift, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose. They were not just traveling to flee famine, they were embarking on a journey of faith, one that would shape their destinies and the destinies of generations forever. And Abram and all belonged to him rose and went down to Misrayim on account of the famine. And when they were at the brook Misrayim, they remained there some time to rest from fatigue of the road. Yashar'al 15:2. As Abram and Sarai approached the borders of Egypt, the landscape shifted dramatically. The arid terrain of Haran gave way to the lush banks of the Nile, where the promise of sustenance and prosperity beckoned. However, with the beauty of the land came a sense of foreboding that weighed heavily on Abram's heart. Entering Egypt, they were met with the bustling activity of a thriving civilization. Merchants called out, selling their wares, and the sounds of laughter and conversation filled the air. Yet, Abram's mind was clouded with concern. He turned to Sarai, his voice low and urgent. "I have thought long about this, my love. You are a woman of great beauty, and I fear that the Egyptians will desire you. They may see you as a prize and take you from me." The book of Jasher, 15:3-4. Sarai's eyes widened, understanding the implications of his words. "What do you propose we do, Abram?" "We must tell them that you are my sister," he replied, his tone resolute. "This way they will treat me well for your sake, and my life will be spared. I cannot bear the thought of losing you." Genesis 12:12-16. Reluctantly, Sarai agreed, knowing that their survival depended on this deception. As they entered the city, Abram's heart raced. He could feel the eyes of the Egyptians upon them, and he prayed silently for protection. True to Abram's fears, word of Sarai's beauty spread quickly. The pharaoh's officials soon took notice, and she was brought to the palace to be part of the royal harem. Abram was treated well, receiving gifts of livestock, servants, and wealth. But his heart ached with the knowledge that Sarai was now in the hands of another. The book of Jubilee 13:11-15. And Abram went up to Misrayim in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Misrayim 5 years before his woman was torn away from him. Now Tanais in Egypt was at that time built 7 years after Hebron. And it came to pass when Pharaoh seized Sarai, the wife of Abra'ham, that YAHUAH plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Abram was very glorious by reason of possessions in sheep and cattle and asses and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants, and in silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot, also his brother's son, was wealthy. Days turned into weeks, and while Abram prospered materially, he felt a growing emptiness within. He had sacrificed his integrity and the safety of his beloved wife for the sake of his own life. YAHUAH was watching over Sarai. The Most High struck Pharaoh and his household with severe plagues, a clear sign that something was amiss. Confused and terrified, Pharaoh sought answers and soon learned the truth about Sarai's identity. Furious, he summoned Abram to confront him. "Abram!" Pharaoh exclaimed, his voice echoing through the grand hall. "What have you done to me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? I could have taken her as my own, and now I am cursed because of your deceit." Abram, trembling, could only respond, "I was afraid for my life. I thought they would kill me to take her." Pharaoh, realizing the gravity of the situation, ordered Abram and Sarai to leave Egypt at once. "Take your wife and go," he commanded, his voice firm, "and take your possessions with you. I do not wish to see you again." And Abram was very glorious by reason of possessions in sheep and cattle and asses and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants, also the Egyptian woman Hagar, and in silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot, also his brother's son, was wealthy. And Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the woman of Abram, and he sent him out of the land of Egypt, aka Misrayim. And he journeyed to the place where he had pitched his tent at the beginning, to the place of the altar with YAHUAH on the east, and Beit Al on the west. And he blessed YAHUAH, Aloha, who brought him back in peace. Jubilee 13:15. With joyful hearts, Abra'ham and Sarai left the land of Egypt, their wealth intact and their faith increased. As they journeyed home toward the land of Canaan, Abram reflected on his 5 years in Egypt. He had been blessed with riches and great substance by the Most High. And the love between Abra'ham and Sarai had been tested, and their faith in YAHUAH strengthened even more so. As they approached the familiar hills of Canaan, Abram took Sarai's hand, grateful to have her by his side. "We will face whatever comes our way together," he promised. "Our faith and obedience to YAHUAH will guide us." Sarai smiled, her heart warmed by Abram's words. Together they would continue their journey, trusting in the promises of the Most High, YAHUAH. This is a pattern of future events of the descendants of Abra'ham and Sarai that go into bondage, aka Egypt in the Tast and AST, because of their beautiful countenance, talents, and special blessings from the Most High. Every captivity or enslavement the Hebrews have endured always stems back to this first encounter with the bondage of Sarai in Egypt. Genesis 15:13 through 14. Even though the children of Jacob managed to find themselves many times in bondage due to their disobedience, YAHUAH only allows them to stay in captivity for a while. Then he causes great plagues and judgments to fall on the captors, and so they must release them, or the pain and judgment increases. This pattern has not been broken yet. Read these accounts in the book of Judges. Thank you for joining me on this exciting look at Abra'ham and Sarai's journey into Egypt, aka Misrayim. Be sure to join me with the next adventure written by our beloved prophets, sent to us by the Most High YAHUAH. All praises to the Most High YAHUAH. And glory to our beloved Hamashiach, Yahusha, our future King. Hallelujah, Yahweh willing, our next presentation will be the birth of Isaac. Coming soon, Isaac.